Breaking news! Something's brewing in Baltimore, and it's not just another Sunday matchup. Imagine waking up to a world where one of the Ravens' most beloved stars might be gone, traded before we've even reached the halfway point of the season. A move so shocking, so controversial, it could divide the fan base overnight. But what if it's not just smoke this time? What if this is actually happening? But before we dive into this potential bombshell, do me a favor, if you're a true Ravens fan, hit that like button. It helps more than you know and shows everyone you're with us, no matter what. And hey, comment right now, would you trade a fan favorite if it meant saving the season? Now let's talk about what could be one of the biggest decisions in recent Ravens history. There's a storm brewing around tight end Mark Andrews, and no, this isn't the same old, recycled talk from the offseason chatter. The rumors are back, louder and more credible than ever, and with the NFL trade deadline creeping closer, what was once speculation is starting to feel dangerously real. According to Fox Sports NFL insider Eric Williams, the Ravens are now being viewed by some league sources as open to moving on from Andrews before the November 4th deadline. This isn't Twitter noise or fan fiction, this is coming from inside the league. Let's get this straight. The Baltimore Ravens are reportedly willing to part ways with the face of their tight end room, a player who's been the security blanket for Lamar Jackson since day one. Why now? Why him? That's the million-dollar question, and there are a few major reasons swirling behind the scenes. First, there's the brutal 1-3 start to the 2025 season, a record that doesn't just sting, it burns. Combine that with the emergence of a younger, cheaper option in Isaiah Likely, and suddenly, what once felt unthinkable becomes a potential business decision. Andrews, despite bouncing back with 17 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns this season, could save Baltimore $7.8 million in cap space if traded. That's a massive number when your defense is hemorrhaging points and looking historically bad. Eric DeCosta is in full reshuffle mode, and the front office has already been busy, trading away Odefoa, adding Alohi Gilman, and signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The focus is crystal clear. This defense is in need of major help, and assets like Andrews might be the only way to get it. Head coach John Harbaugh even confirmed the team will be active and busy leading up to the deadline. That's not coach speak. That's a warning. Andrews' potential departure isn't just about cap space. It's about the direction of this franchise. It's about moving on from veterans, turning the page, and betting on upside rather than nostalgia. Yes, Isaiah Likely has been underwhelming so far this season, struggling with false starts and inconsistency, especially against Houston. But the organization seems convinced he's the future, whether the fan base agrees or not. Let's not pretend this would be an easy goodbye. Mark Andrews has been the heartbeat of this offense. He's been Lamar's most trusted target, a leader in the locker room, and one of the most productive tight ends in the NFL. But the loss to Buffalo in the playoffs, that crucial fumble on a 2-point attempt, and the ongoing defensive collapse have created a perfect storm. If DeCosta sees a chance to flip Andrews for a difference maker on the other side of the ball, he's going to take it. And there are suitors. Jacksonville is reportedly very interested, especially with Brenton Strange on IR and Trevor Lawrence needing a reliable veteran presence. It makes sense. They're 4-1, they've beaten Mahomes in prime time, and they look like contenders. Who wouldn't want to add a 3-time Pro Bowler to their arsenal? The Los Angeles Chargers are another top contender. With Greg Roman now involved in their system, and his long history with Andrews in Baltimore, the connection is obvious. Herbert could use a veteran target, especially with their rookie running back banged up and Keenan Allen aging. If there's one place Andrews could shine immediately, it's in L.A. And then there's the wild card, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Reunite Andrews with Baker Mayfield? The two Oklahoma Sooners made magic in college, and now with Tampa sitting at 4-1, eyeing a home playoff game in a weak division, a reunion might just make sense. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are both battling injuries, and Baker might be pushing hard behind the scenes to bring in someone he already trusts. Look, even if nothing happens, just the fact that we're having this conversation tells you how far things have shifted. This isn't about Mark Andrews the player, it's about what his trade could unlock. The Ravens are scoring at will with weapons like Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, and of course, Lamar Jackson. They're dropping 30 to 40 points a game. Offense isn't the problem. Defense is. And right now, they're trending toward being one of the worst defensive units in league history. Not this year, asterisk ever star. Let's pick up right where we left off. Because this isn't just about trading a player. This is about legacy. About whether the Ravens are still clinging to an identity that worked 5 years ago, or if they're truly ready to evolve into something new. And Mark Andrews, fair or not, has become the centerpiece of that conversation. Let's break down the real impact of such a move. If Andrews is dealt before the deadline, it signals a definitive shift in how the Ravens view their championship window. It says, we're retooling on the fly. That may not be what fans want to hear, but it's reality. And here's the kicker. Baltimore isn't selling from a position of weakness. They'd be dealing from one of strength. Offensively, this team is still loaded. They've got firepower that keeps them in games, even with a leaky defense. Let's not forget what DeAndre Hopkins can bring to the table when he's locked in. Zay Flowers is emerging as a serious threat. Rashad Bateman, when healthy, gives this offense another dynamic. And Derrick Henry? He's still dragging defenders 5 yards downfield like it's 2019. With Isaiah likely expected to step into Andrews' shoes, despite his rocky start, the organization is making a calculated bet that the offense can survive, even thrive, without its longtime tight end. But what would they be gaining in return? This is where it gets interesting. Sources suggest the Ravens aren't just shopping Andrews blindly. They're targeting defensive upgrades, specifically impact players on the front seven or in the secondary. You don't trade away someone like Mark Andrews unless you're expecting a proven difference maker in return. So, let's talk potential returns. A team like Jacksonville could offer up young, ascending defensive talent. Someone like Devin Lloyd or a high pick that could turn into a future defensive cornerstone. The Chargers? Maybe a package involving a pick and a veteran edge rusher, something Baltimore desperately needs with Odafoa out of the picture and Kyle Van Noy not at 100%. Even Tampa Bay might be able to dangle a young DB or linebacker to sweeten the pot. But there's a risk here, a big one. What if Likely doesn't develop? What if the chemistry with Lamar doesn't click the same way? What if the defensive help you trade for doesn't actually move the needle? That's what makes this such a difficult, divisive decision. It's not a rebuild. It's a gamble. A mid-season all-in to balance out a roster that is tilting too heavily toward offense. And then there's the emotional toll. Mark Andrews isn't just a stat sheet guy. He's been the heart of this locker room. A fierce competitor. A leader. The guy who battles through injuries and plays with a chip on his shoulder every single week. Fans love him. Lamar trusts him. Moving him could fracture more than just the roster. It could test the culture that's been carefully built over the last 5 years. But you have to ask yourself, if not now, when? The trade deadline is November 4th. The clock is ticking. And every week this defense fails to get stops. The pressure mounts. DeCosta's already shown he's not afraid to shake things up. The Alohi Gilman move, the Oa trade, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson signing, all of it points to a front office that's operating with urgency. The kind of urgency that makes a blockbuster deal like this possible. The Ravens are trying to keep their season alive while laying the groundwork for what comes next. And that's where this could all come full circle. Because what if moving Andrews is actually about protecting Lamar? Think about it. You finally surrounded him with real weapons. You've got the run game humming again. You've got receivers who can separate. But your defense is a mess. Every game turns into a shootout. And if you don't fix it fast, you're wasting Lamar's prime. Trading Andrews might feel like a gut punch. But if it helps build a defense that can actually hold a lead in January, it could be the move that saves this team in the long run. So, here we are. The Ravens are facing a defining moment, and it's not about a single player, it's about what kind of team they want to be. High-flying offense with no breaks? Or a complete, balanced contender with real Super Bowl aspirations? Only time will tell what Eric DeCosta decides. But one thing's for sure, Ravens Nation won't stay quiet if this deal goes down. If you're fired up about this, hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the Ravens go through with the trade? Or should they ride it out with Andrews and hope this defense figures it out another way? Don't forget to subscribe for more breaking Ravens updates, and check out the next video on screen now for a full breakdown of Baltimore's trade deadline strategy.